So UFC London just took place a few days ago, and Lerone Murphy and Movsar Evloev. I think that this fight, the judging was not good in this fight. I don't think Movsar Evloev won this fight. When I first watched the fight, I thought Lerone Murphy won, but that round three, maybe I can understand giving it to Movsar due to the take. They put the takedown in the factor of that, and then also he flurried in and hit like some damaging shots on Lerone that probably gave him round three. But I think this fight should have been a draw. I think round one, it was clearly a Lerone round. I don't know how they gave round one to Movsar Evloev. It's a clear round for Lerone Murphy to win, outstrike him, hit the better shots, but somehow they gave it to Movsar Evloev. But yeah, this fight did not have a good decision to it. Should have been a draw. Movsar Evloev should have not won the fight. And yeah, I'm gonna talk. That's I just want to get that over with now. Talk about how I think about this. The judging was in this fight. It was not good, but still, overall, I've seen people say that this fight was pretty boring. It was not boring. I thought this was a very solid main event, and it was pretty good. People still gotta people hate on Movsar, I think, too much. I think people hate on Movsar too because he goes to decisions. I understand he hasn't finished anyone in the UFC. He's 10-0 in the UFC. But here's the thing with Movsar, though. His fights aren't boring. It's just because he goes to decision a lot, people think he's boring. His Arnold Allen fight was good. His, Aljamain Sterling fight was fun. His Diego Lopez fight was fun. And this fight was pretty fun, too. We got to stop saying, oh, yeah, decisions equals boringness. This fight was exciting to watch, in my opinion. Pretty solid fight night main event. And, yeah, I just didn't agree with the decision. I think Lerone Murphy and Movsar should have had a draw. But you know, I don't know, man. I don't know. It was just a weird thing that happened. Due to the judge, like I don't understand how they gave him round one still. Like I was kind of shocked. They gave Movsar 4 rounds to 1. Like round three, I was already like, okay, like a bit sketchy about that. I'm like, well, did he win round three? But that's unarguable. Like you can arguably give Movsar that round. Round one, it's like, how the fuck did you give that to him? Made no sense. But overall, this fight was pretty solid. Lerone Murphy and Movsar Evloev. And just quickly recapping this, and I want to talk about what's next for Movsar. What's next for Movsar is he should be definitely getting a title shot against Alexander Volkanovski. No one else. We finally have a legit number one contender, 20-0. Whatever you can say, maybe he was a draw or not, but still, technically on his record, he has a Lerone Murphy win. If you say he didn't win or not, I don't think he won, but still, he's 20-0, 10-0 in the UFC, number one contender, was number one contender before even Alexander Volkanovski fought Diego Lopez for the second time, and this is the fight to make next. I do not want to see Gene Silva get a featherweight title shot now. Of course, I'd love to see him fight Volkanovski in the future if Volkanovski stays around and we see Gene Silva come up. I do think it is a more trickier matchup for Volk than Movsar Evloev is. But still, I don't want to see Gene Silva get a title shot now. He just lost to Diego Lopez, who Volk beat twice, and who Movsar already beat on his debut. And he just simply doesn't deserve it right now. He does have a win over Arnold Allen, but Arnold Allen was ranked number 6, 5? We need to see Gene Silva fight someone else, like a Yair Rodriguez. We need to see him fight who else? Aljamain Sterling, people like that around in this division. We can't just give Gene Silva a title shot. I get it, he's big in the sport, but he needs to earn it. Movsar has more than earned it, just because, and he would have already gotten the title shot, I think, or over Diego Lopez the second time if he didn't pull out of that fight with Aaron Pico. That just gave the UFC an excuse to not give him the title shot. And yeah, Movsar Evloev does deserve the title shot now for sure, and it's just perfect. I think I even though Gene Silva is a more stylistically difficult fight for Volk than Movsar is, just what people mainly look at. Oh yeah, what are the resumes of this person that he beat? Movsar is a way better resume than Gene Silva. No losses in the UFC, has beaten tons of top featherweight contenders, and yeah, it's just better for now. If Gene Silva gets a bit of his resume up, if he gets a few wins on his resume, gets a Yair Rodriguez, another Vallejos win, who else? An Aljamain Sterling win, then be like, okay, this would be a better win for Volk. But we want to see, because it's around the end of Volk's career, and he is top 5 in the GOAT list, obviously. He needs these wins to help his GOAT status, in my opinion. And a Movsar win at this point in his career would help him a bunch with that, due to how good Movsar's resume is and being that number one contender. I need to see that. A champion versus a legit number one contender in this fight is big. I don't think it will be boring at all. And I do think Volkanovski wins. I do think out of like every threat in this division, Movsar is underrated, but I think out of every threat in this division, Volkanovski easiest matchup is Movsar Evloev. Even though Movsar is still a dangerous fighter, I still think just due to like the Lerone Murphy fight, how Lerone popped his hip and he's still getting up pretty easily, and there was no really resistance to Lerone on the ground. He kept getting up pretty easily, and with the torn hip, and then Volkanovski showing his grappling again in the Islam fight, showing how good he is defensive grappling against a weight class up, by the way, against a bigger man. I think that he will. I don't want to say walk in the park because Movsar could surprise us somehow. I could just sense that happening. But I think it's going to be an easier fight for him than any other fight. I think it'd be an easier fight for him than like a Gene Silva. I think it'd be an easier fight for him, let's say, if Kevin Vallejos came up and stuff like that. I only fear Volkanovski to fight like the boxer type guys, like the people who have really heavy hands. I could picture like I just have really like I think they're his bad stylistic matchup for him. Those really heavy hitting boxer guys. And but against grapplers like Movsar, I don't see any struggle for him because Movsar is underrated on the feet, but he's not on the level of Alexander Volkanovski. He's not on the level of him on the feet. I think if he just stays on the feet, he will do. I think he will absolutely do way better than Lerone Murphy was to him on the feet. I think he'd absolutely piece him up. And then when it goes to the ground, if Murphy's able to do that with a torn hip, he's not keeping Volkanovski down. Volkanovski has shown he's the best anti-grappler in the UFC, and yeah, I don't see Movsar. I don't really see how Movsar can beat him here. He's not going to outstrike him. He just won't. And the wrestling, I don't think is dominant enough. And he doesn't really have the finish ability where it'd be able to give him a threat on the ground. Like when Islam Makhachev was on the ground with Volkanovski, you were kind of scared sometimes. Because like, oh shit, he is getting like submission attempts in. Like I'm kind of worried here. He has his back and everything. Volk can get caught in a submission here. Movsar doesn't really give me that like when I watch him fight, he doesn't give me that fear of what like a Islam Makhachev would do to people on the ground. He just seems to like he dominates you on the ground. Pause, but he doesn't like seem to like have that finishing ability in the ground, which has been shown. He doesn't have any finishes in the UFC. I don't mean to diss him, but it's just true. He's not going to do anything to Volkanovski. Even if he wanted to play the hold him down for 5 round strategy, he just won't. He just won't. And if it goes to the feet, I could see him maybe tagging Volk with a good couple shots because his striking is underrated. I could see him tagging Volk a few times with some pretty good shots. Won't do anything much to wobble him or something like that. I don't know. I just think with Lerone Murphy, if he actually did tear his hip, by the way, or he popped it, and he still was able to hang in there with Movsar like that. I think Volk's gonna make a really dominant fight. I honestly think he can finish Movsar too in like the later rounds, or I most likely think this will go to a decision, or maybe who knows, maybe Movsar will shock us and absolutely freaking dominate Volk, which I likely do think will not. Like I likely think that will not happen at all. But yeah, this fight needs to be next. No Gene Silva. I've seen Gene Silva saying he's signing a contract for this fight, but no. This is our number one contender. This is our number one contender, like against the champion. We haven't had that in so long. The exact number one guy. Like we had Joshua Van against Pantoja, but think about it. Joshua Van had a quicker rise. Movsar has been going through everyone in the division. He's been going through everyone in the division, or not everyone, but a lot of the top contenders. Some of the wins his age, some of the like maybe he beat Diego Lopez in his debut, but still that win has aged incredibly well. And I think Movsar Evloev should be getting the title shot next. Don't screw him over, UFC. His fights aren't that boring. I know you guys don't like finishes, but I know you guys don't like him because he doesn't have finishes, and he's a boring fighter apparently to you guys, but he's just simply not. He's simply not, and I'm more intrigued for this fight than I would be with a Gene Silva fight, honestly. Because I just need to see Gene's, because it's just so much more for Volk. So much, like, much more legacy. If he's just being the number 6 guy at this point in his career, like, what, like, come on. We gotta wait till, like, Gene Silva's, like, a number 2 or number 3 contender at least. Let's let him win a bit more. But yeah, Movsar Evloev, Alexander Volkanovski. This is going to be a sick fight, and it should. Honestly, I heard Joe Rogan say maybe put this in the White House. We need another, and this is a big fight in my opinion. You guys hyped up the White House to be this insane, amazing card. It is not like how you guys were hyping it. Is a pretty good pay-per-view card, a regular how a pay-per-view card should look like. But to make the White House even bigger, maybe put this as the co-main. I know Pereira and Gon's the co-main, but that's for an interim belt. Maybe put that as the feature fight. Put Volkanovski Movsar as the co-main for the featherweight belt. Likely this won't happen, but you know what? We need this. I don't think Movsar took too much damage in this fight, and Volkanovski sure as shit didn't take much damage. Or I shouldn't say sure as shit. He probably maybe did, but like I don't think he took a bunch of damage in the Diego Lopez fight either. He just came out with like a little scratch. But yeah, maybe you can do that at the White House. Maybe Rogan actually had a good take on there. I think it should be at the White House, because we need another big fight, and the UFC might not see this because they don't ever look what the fans talk about. It's just with them. Movsar and Volkanovski is a great house to be at the White. I mean, great house, a great fight to be at the White House. It's a big fight. A lot of people have been wanting this fight for a long time, and I know it sounds surprising, but people have been. Movsar is a threat in the division. I don't think he beats Volkanovski, but still, it's a pretty interesting matchup in my opinion. But yeah, that is the end of my video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Peace out.